Don't do that. Realize that scheduling, changes to your schedule doesn't happen overnight. You want to create the perfect schedule. You also want to see what you're currently doing, and you want to see how much momentum you have going or how much change you are getting towards that new schedule.
Okay,
So,
sure, yeah.
so first of all, you're doing a schedule, and most people do an hourly schedule, right? So here's my, 8 hours in a day, and this is how my schedule goes. And
Exactly.
a little bit after work, a little before work, 9 to 5 is scheduled off as a block
Yeah.
to do work. And,
Exactly.
and then, drive home, but we don't even put that into our schedule. We
Yep.
put, pick up the kids, have dinner, watch some TV, go to bed, repeat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what most people's schedules, and so they really don't even need a schedule. Like, what do I need a schedule for?
Exactly.
Okay, so what did you put in your schedule? Share what you put in your schedule.
The gym,
Okay, and what time did you do it before?
9:15,
And what time did you put it in now?
6:45.
6:45. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, people don't think it's a whoa. What's the big deal? I'm committed at being successful. I'll do it. No problem. It's all good. And then the snooze button goes off in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're going to be at the gym at 6:45, you probably snooze button goes off at
6.
the alarm goes off at
6.
And then what happened at 6 o'clock?
Snooze.
Snooze.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you woke up at?
6:27.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
The alarm, a repeat alarm, or you just
Yeah, I
woke
was
up?
just repeating. Snooze,
okay.
repeat. Snooze,
Okay.
5 minutes, 8 minutes.
So what you should schedule in that it takes you 27 minutes or let's say 30 minutes to get out of bed. Just to get out of bed.
That's ridiculous.
And if you really want to see how ridiculous that is in essence 180 hours a year that you're spending an extra 30 minutes just trying to get out of bed.
100 and what?
180 hours per year.
A year.
Yeah, because it's 365 days in a year. If you did a whole hour, it'd be 365.
Right.
180.
You're only doing a half hour.
Yeah, so I mean, I can say 182 and a half, but whatever.
No. That's already ridiculous. 180?
180 hours just to try and get out of bed in the morning. Crazy.
I'm thinking caffeine pills.
Yeah, well, so I had this technique because I was getting up earlier.
Yeah.
And so a lot of mistakes that people make when it comes to scheduling, and I might as well bring this up now, is that you make this adjustment, especially since you've been getting up at 9:15, or what was it?
I would 9.
9 o'clock. So
Yeah.
9 and get out of bed at 9:15.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he tries to move it to 6 o'clock. So that's a change of 3 hours. The 3 hours that you're putting there is not going to be easy. It's almost literally impossible to do instantly. The way I found it is to move by 15-minute increments. Once you could get up by 15 minutes earlier. So if you were getting up at 9, then 8:45. And then once you can get up at 8:45, 8:30. Once you can get up at 8:30, get up at 8, right? Or 8:15.
Yeah.
I found perfect increments to do it over time was 15-minute increments. Now, obviously, you probably from 9 to 8 wouldn't be that difficult for some people. It's doable.
Yeah.
It's when you start getting into the hours of 6 a.m., 5 a.m. type of thought process.
Yeah.
Like when I'm trying to go right now from 6:15 and I want to get up at 5:45, it's not easy.
Really?
It's not easy. I'm out of bed by 6:15.
Yeah.
Because my alarm goes on at 6 and I'm trying to put it at 5:45 and I find that it's sort of, I end up missing, and now I'm not even getting into the gym because I put it that extra amount. So I'm going to try just doing 5 minutes a little bit more, which now I'm at 5:55.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Try and do that and
Yeah.
try and work my way up to the earliest stage that I can do. So making this change is not going to happen overnight. And then what happens is a lot of you guys are going to do this as well. And then you're going to say it doesn't work. And you're going to quit.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Realize that scheduling, changes to your schedule doesn't happen overnight. You want to create the perfect schedule. You also want to see what you're currently doing. And you want to see how much momentum you have going or how much change you are getting towards that new schedule. Don't believe or don't think and don't assume that everybody else is just switching like this because you watch some YouTube and he goes, I could just go out and do it. Well, you know, what it was, Groggins can run for 24 hours straight with no food, no water, and in 50-degree Arizona weather.
Yeah.
Well, you know, pick one in a billion person.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't suggest trying to do that, right? We're still all average people here, including myself. So use the techniques that work on average people, worker bees like ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So use those techniques to work. Don't, you got these supermen out there and, they became supermen somehow, some way.
Exactly.
But, you're talking decade to get to where he is. 2 decades maybe to get where he is. He probably told you, this started, I started this when I was like 18.
Yeah. That's
30 years. Maybe, well, sorry, not 30. Maybe 20 years for the guy.
Yeah.
Right?
To get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what we need to do is you're talking trying to make massive changes in a short period of time. And a short period of time is not days or weeks. A short period of time is a year. If you can make major changes in a year, where you are today to where you are be the exact same day next year, if you can make those changes, it's life-changing. The ones that you're trying to make right now. Getting up 3 hours earlier, getting into a proper routine, doing everything from door knocking, cold calling on a regular basis, keeping statistics of what you need to do, following up with the people that you need to follow up with, staying motivated on a daily basis, which is working out and keeping your energy, taking your vitamins, getting your 7 hours minimum sleep, strong, solid sleep, at least 6 hours of solid sleep.
6?
Of solid sleep. That means... Okay. So basically, if you get a Fitbit, if we're going to get into sleep, we're going all over the place here.
That's Dove and Fitbit. We got to go after now.
Yeah,
go ahead.
If you got your Fitbit on, this is not a Fitbit, this is Rolex, but if you have I have my Fitbit on here. So if you have your Fitbit on, you should really be getting deep sleep of about an hour minimum to an hour and a half of deep sleep. It's called deep sleep. Then you have your other sleep, which is going to be closer to 4 hours. And then you have some awake time, and how many times in awake you're getting up at night can tell you, how late you're drinking your caffeine, or if there's something that's causing a little bit of an issues where you wake up numerous amounts of times, or you're tossing and turning. Your Fitbit actually tracks all of that.
No way.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You keep it on all the time?
Yeah, 24 hours.
Do you have to charge it?
Well, you charge it once a week, and it takes literally while you're in the shower for half an hour.
And it's done.
It's fully charged.
For the week?
For the week.
You sleep with it on?
Oh, yeah.
Shower, everything?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it keeps track of my health.
You can always see it on your phone?
Yeah, you just connect it,
Bluetooth
it, and then it downloads the information, and you can see where your resting heart rate is, how much sleep you're getting.
Wow.
Where you're getting stressed during the day, what heart rate you're hitting during your intense workouts.
Wow.
That kind of stuff, yeah.
I should get me one of those.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Fitbit. We'll invoice you shortly.
You owe us.
You owe us.
Next episode, you see me with one on.
Yeah. So right now, let's get over to the...
So we're at 8,000.
The schedule.
Yeah.
And what the schedule needs to have into it. So we're just going to do this is more of a real estate training type of thought process, or a success training thought process that you want to use to be successful in any of your business. You can use this. And scheduling is one of the most, once you have the motivation, you have the drive, you have the necessity to succeed, one of the greatest things you can do is schedule your time. Your time is your most valuable asset. Nothing is more valuable than your time. No matter what anyone tells you, the most valuable thing you have in this world is your time. And so now what you need to do is schedule it so you're being as productive as possible in a 24-hour day, in a 7-day week, or in a 30-day month, or in a 12-month year. You have to be as productive as possible because we're in loops, right? We're constantly in loops. Every morning the sun comes up, every night the sun goes down, the moon comes up, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So we're in a constant loop. Those loop has to become more efficient. And you have to understand that every hour in a day that I can take and make more effective, or pack more things in, 1 hour of wasted time is 365 hours of wasted time in a year. We talked about this before. Yeah. It's a lot of time. So,
it is.
So that being said, is how can I then free up an hour of my time scheduling it? When you schedule it, it stops from wasting the little extra 10 minutes, 15 minutes you do for drinking on your coffee. Instead of taking 30 minutes, you cut it down to 20 minutes because you scheduled it. You know when you're going to your job, I'll show you how effective. Why does everyone show up at 9 a.m. in the morning to their job?
That's when their boss tells them to be there.
And that's their schedule.
I see.
And you, for some people, that 9 o'clock, right? They're coming from out of town. Maybe it's a 45-minute drive. Maybe it's a hour and a half bus ride or train ride.
Yeah.
But they all show up at
9
9 o'clock. How's that possible? You should be doing that with your own time throughout the entire day, from when you go to bed. And you should create a schedule, because each Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So if you can get that extra time, where it would before was just going to waste. And I like to use mainly, some people are wasting it by taking 2 hours to 3 hours to eat a meal.
Yeah.
Well, imagine you eat every meal. You decide, I'm going to enjoy my food, which is great.
Hour, yeah.
Well, some people do 2 hours. They cook.
If you go out.
They cook. Not even if you go out. You cook. I'm not talking about going out. That's entertainment. You're
yeah,
at home.
yeah,
You cook.
yeah.
You stir up. You chop. You clean.
Yeah.
You got to put everything away.
Heat up the pan.
Put it in the oven. The oven takes 45 minutes. You sit there and, it smells so good.
It smells good. Yeah. I'm going to have a great day. Yeah.
But that's insane. That's 6 hours a day. 6 hours a day times 365 days. It's just going to blow your mind.
Why 6 hours a day?
Well, if you do 2 for breakfast, 2 for dinner, 2 for lunch, and some people do that. Okay, let's say that's over exaggerated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each of them?
Well, let's say you're doing 2 hours if you're cooking.
Yeah.
If you're cooking and then cleaning up afterwards. Now, let's say you're doing what do you do for breakfast? What do you think an average person does for breakfast?
Timmy's drive-through, maybe. If not, no, before the Timmy's drive-through, 2 eggs, toast, some feta cheese. Yeah, hour and a half.
Okay. And you're going to cook it up. Let's say it's an hour for breakfast. Usually because they want their cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
You're sitting there sipping on your coffee. The breakfast is being made. Now the breakfast is at the table. So 15 minutes for your first coffee, 15 minutes to make the breakfast, half an hour to eat the breakfast. Well, 20 minutes to eat, 10 minutes to clean it up. You see how I just did that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Well, when you put your time in a schedule like that and you know where every section is going to, you can figure out where you can start saving time, or creating time is what I like to call it.
An hour, though.
And you can cut that hour down by changing what you're eating and how you're cooking your breakfast and how much time you're doing your coffee and combining your coffee while you're eating. And you can cut that down into half an hour. Well, there you just saved 180 hours a year.
Wow.
Now, if you do that 3 times, that's going to be 360. And then you add on another 180. It's going to be 460, 540 hours in a year, just by cutting your eating times down by half an hour. So if you're an hour and a half, cut it down to an hour. If you're in an hour, cut it down to half an hour, and just figure out ways to do that. So for me, my cook time was usually about 15 minutes. I'd take a frozen organic chicken breast. I throw it into the grill. It goes ding after 15 minutes from frozen. It comes out nice and juicy, just like it would from a restaurant. I throw in a slice of cheese. I put it into a sandwich. Takes me 15 minutes to eat. I'm done. No cleanup, no nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
No dishes, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Done.
Every day?
Done like dinner.
Every day.
Every day. Why? Consistency is key. And I like my sandwiches. Just thinking about it is making me hungry right now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Put a little hot sauce on it, but I don't want to go too high on the sodium, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Making me crave one now.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, of course you can do it every day, right?
Yeah.
So, those are some of the little things. Now, what a lot of people don't do is they don't schedule in things like, okay, now I'm going to put in more time towards work or more times towards, maybe learning a new skill. But then they forget, well, you still have to do laundry. You still have to do groceries. You may still have kids to probably pick up for some people. Not everybody. Young guns, not so much. But if you do. Mm-hmm. So you still have to schedule all these things in. And you need to find, some things you can't move. Like you can't move. Kid gets out at 3:30. Go, well, you know what? Let's change that time slot. That's stuck.
No, you can't.
You're going to pick up your 5-year-old, your 6-year-old, your 10-year-old at a certain time. You got to do it, right? So those things are fixed into your schedule. So those are the easy things to start with. Your fixed schedule that you have to do no matter what. Those are mandatory. You got to put them in, and you got to work around that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to build up more and more work time by making everything else a lot more effective. And finding ways, like for me now, I click on an app and I have groceries delivered ordered, and then they get delivered within 15 minutes. So putting away the groceries is still 15 minutes. So I would say half an hour before, drive to the supermarket, buy my groceries,
a parking spot,
go through everything, right? Go through, buy all this stuff. in essence, a 2.5 hour
trip.
Yeah. Now I'm saving, 365 times 2.
That's crazy.
Oh, sorry. No, because it's not every day. So grocery shopping was once a week.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be 2 hours, 2 hours times 52, which is 100 hours. I just created time by doing little things like that. Right. So, and there's now pickup and delivery laundry services that you can do.
Yeah.
If your hourly rate is more than double of the cleaner, like what a cleaner would cost, and it's more than double, don't you think it'd be better to put your money, your time into doing what you do instead of cleaning the house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
And I guess I'll get there.
So let's say your cleaner, I'm going to say, is roughly $15 an hour. If you're lucky. In today's world, maybe it's gone up, inflation and whatnot. And you're making $30 an hour. Maybe you're making even $50 an hour. Why should you spend your 4 hours or 8 hours a week doing that, where it's, where you're saving? People think they can save their way to $1 million. Literally impossible to save your way to $1 million. You can't save your way to riches. You can't.
Yeah.
You can only work your way to riches.
You hear it all the time, though. We'll just put $100 in this savings account.
It's flawed. A flawed thought process. You cannot save your way to $1 million. Literally impossible. The only way you can get yourself to $1 million or you have to make the money. And the only way you can make the money is by freeing up your time. And the only way you're going to free up your time is where you're probably going to have to pay other people to do jobs that you're doing at which is valued at $15 an hour, when your time's worth $50 to $100 an hour. That's not a fair trade. And a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
And so they get stuck and they go, what am I going to do? I don't have any time. How would I do that? Well, you can do it, and if you go out and buy shit first, like Shawn's done, you're going to do it. You have, because well, me and my wife look at each other when we've done something like this, when we've made a big decision and we've increased our bills drastically.
Next level. Yeah.
We look at each other. We're obviously, everyone question, are we going to be able to pull this off? Are you going to be able to pull this off, Shawn?
Yeah. I've asked myself so many times.
You asked yourself this,
so many times.
How does it feel when you ask yourself? Look at the deep breath he's taking in.
Yeah. Yeah. Big question, loaded question. It just seems unachievable. Like it's just so crazy to me for those numbers. But again, the condo helps a lot. And I think back to scheduling, a big thing that I learned at the beginning was, all right, I'll block off my time. He's saying block off your time. I'll block off my time. And I gave different days 3 hours. But the problem was I was saying real estate as the event.
Yeah.
And I would get there. I'd be like,
now what?
Now what? Okay, real estate. Like I would dedicate it to real estate, but then it's just like when you look at your schedule for something that it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm sitting here, now what?
Well, that's why you're on a team, right?
And it helped a lot when you were like, okay, you tell me exactly what you're going to do. Yeah.
So that's good. And we're going to continue to work on that schedule. But here's the reality. When someone asks you, and if you're out there and you're in the same position and you're getting that feeling of, oh my God, what did I get myself into? Mm-hmm. So here's what me and the wife always do. We look at each other. Well, she pretty much looks at me and goes, yeah, we got no choice.
No way.
Yeah, we got no choice. There's no option.
What do you say to that? You're right.
I repeat it back to her. I go, yeah, you're right. We got no choice. We're going to make this happen. We have no choice. There's no other option.
Wow.
Yeah. And when you think that way and you realize that way and you trigger your brain to understand it, hey, listen up. You got no choice. You got to make the extra money. There's no option, right? We're not giving away this house, even though it's costing me an extra $25,000 a month just for the mortgage payment.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not an option. And that's how you move up another level.
I see.
And then reinforce yourself with faith that God or the universe would never put you in this position unless he knows you can succeed at it. And your goal is to figure out how. That's the game, right? That's the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the house started with joining this team.
Yeah. A lot happened. Short period of time. We can revamp it again. Let's put it up on the board here. Yeah. Ding, number 1, sell or join the team.
Yeah.
So get your real estate license, and then you were with another brokerage. You're like, oh, I'm just going to try all this other stuff. It didn't work, and then boom, finally, okay, boom. Step number 1, join your team, which means surround yourself with eagles. Don't join a team with a bunch of turkeys. Okay?
Yeah.
That are sitting around gobbling all freaking day, eating all day, and drinking coffee all day, getting drunk all day, and not doing any deals. Join yourself with a team full of eagles. And that's what Shawn done. Step number 2, whoever's the head of that team, listen to what they say and do it. So Shawn sold his Bitcoin because I said, free up your mind. It's going to use up way too much brain power. It's going to stop you from being able to be successful. Free up your Bitcoin. I said a few things. It made sense to him. He sold his Bitcoin.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden, all this negativity, every day watching, what's happening with the war, what's happening with this, what's happening with that. How's that going to affect my Bitcoin? How's it going to affect my bet? How's that going to affect my sports bet or whatever it is you're doing? You know, what injury this person had. You don't even know who this person is. Some kid on a field who's, and you're wondering if he has a, tendonitis.
Yeah, hopefully not tonight.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
betting
Oh my
on
God.
him. Yeah.
Oh my God. CNN just released another report. And you're like, oh my God, this is massive brain power. Who wants to live under this circumstance? It's crazy. You can't be successful living under this circumstance.
You don't realize it until you step away.
Average people like us, the worker bees, the ants of the world, we can't live under those circumstances. So we have to remove them. And if you're under too many of those, you have to remove them. So Shawn did that. Next thing that Shawn did was, he had a temptation. And you have to be 100% focused on the path you're going. You cannot walk 2 paths.
Yeah.
You cannot walk 2 paths, folks. Shawn cannot walk the path of the waiter. The waiter.
Oh, the server, yes.
The server.
Yeah.
And you cannot walk the path of the real estate agent. You got to pick one. And that happened to me as well. My boss came up, Hans, you got to pick one. I go, all right, I quit.
No way.
Yeah, I did my first buy and sell, and he goes, and I had to do a buyer's visit, so I'm working 12 hours, 16 hours a day, and he had the audacity to ask me that question, and
pick one.
And I put the numbers together, and he go, yeah, Hans, you gotta pick one. I go, yeah, you know what, I quit, and I walked out the door.
Wow.
Yeah, after my first buy and sell. So that was pretty amazing.
Wow.
And then I just had to deal with it, right? So now I stranded myself on the island, just like Shawn's doing when he quit his job. And which you guys, if you haven't seen that episode, you got to go see that episode. Yeah. What his boss said was incredible.
Wild.
Yeah, it was something else. It was surreal. That's the number one word out there for that episode is surreal.
Yeah.
So we do that, and then what happened was the next thing he's doing now is he's freed himself up from what using his brain power. Should I go this way, that way, this way, that way? Now he's just focused. Now all of a sudden things start getting into focus. So he goes out and buys himself a house. Now what that is buy shit first, figure out how to pay for it. That's a reinforcement to the commitment, as now he has no choice to take the action that he needs to take to earn an income in this path that he's decided to walk. Whatever that path is for you, that's your path. He has no choice but to earn an income in this path because he now has a bill. It's an $8,000 a month bill, and it's going to be coming out of his bank account whether he likes it or not. And it's going to start coming out on July 31st. July 31st.
Yeah.
And every day that gets by, and usually as we switch from May to June, so June 1st, this is when, he's going to have to up the clicks to 5 because it's going to create, you can hear it in his tonality. It's going to make him more stressed. And this is the path he needs to walk. And being surrounded by people who are also walking this path, who are also, learn this concept and this technique from myself and executed it and had success on it. It's obviously going to be a lot easier, but it's still going to be a lot of pressure. He's going to have to learn how to adapt with it. If you buy first house, from my experience, from what I see, it takes about 6 months to even start to get comfortable with it. After 6 months, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and then you get to the year, you start, okay, I got this, right? What you should do up front is just say up front, listen, we have no choice. We have no choice. And we got this. You should do that up front. You should do that now. I have no option. I don't have to wait till July 1st 31st comes around to tell me I have no option. I have no option, and we got this. All right, Shawn? No problem.
Yeah.
Easy as
fuck. Yeah. That's hard. It's a lot easier said than done, for sure.
No.
Really?
No.
It's a lot of money.
You already done it. You have no choice.
Yeah.
Do you have a choice?
I won't have a choice on July 31st, but...
You have no choice right now.
Yeah.
You don't want to wait till July 31st.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The money's coming out.
Exactly.
You don't want to wait until July 1st. Is the bank really going to take the money out of my bank account? I'm just going to wait and see if this is actually going to happen. And then it happens. You're like,
Oh shit.
OMG. What the beep? That was a chunk of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's happening.
Whether I like it or not.
Whether you like it or not at this point.
Oh.
Yeah.
You sound like life talking to me right now.
I try to be that voice, you know.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're in my ear.
Well, you know. I think earlier today,
Yeah.
I said something, and then you reacted like it wasn't even coming out of my mouth. You just heard it in your own head.
Yeah.
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 That's going to start happening.
Really?
Well, yeah.
That's happened.
Yeah.
What would Hans do?
Well, it's
right
just
now?
start popping in your head. And,
Yeah.
you know, when I notice that someone, and these are only happenings with the one-on-one trainings, or if you decide to join up on our team and get that one-on-one, you know, I can recognize when someone is blocking themselves.
Yeah.
And they're not allowing their own mind to change or disconnect from one thought process and reconnect to another thought process, even though that's the right thing. Then I have to use what I like to call, I bring out the baseball bat. I have to force the change, because if I don't force this change, if I don't change this thought process, there's no way you'll succeed. And I can't have that in my team. So it's not allowed. So I change that thought process really quickly, and it doesn't take me much. I recognize it really quickly in people. It's an uncontrollable subconscious thing that I can change in people, and this is where it's like getting freed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I see it, and all of a sudden they're coming back literally the next day and going, wow, you know. And just to bring this up, since we're already on this, let's talk about, you know, another person who also, you know, had a really rough time. So if you've been stagnated and you've been plateaued for a year or maybe longer, you know, one of the first steps that you got to do is figure out how many months do I have of cash flow, like basically that I can live on a month-to-month basis before I'm bankrupt. Like if I made no money starting today, how many more months would I have?
Yeah.
And what's your month?
After the purchase, like after
now.
closing?
Yeah,
After
now.
closing.
How many months do you have?
With the closing, I think July 31st, August. I think September would be the month I'm bankrupt if I made no money starting today. Hang on, where do I sign to call it a day? Please. This is September.
That's short. That's including your line of credit?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
Wow. So
Yeah.
so basically we got May, or not even May. You got June, July, August, September. So what we find, or what I find, is anything under 6 months, every month starts increasing drastically amount pressure. And so Shawn's going to be under this pressure, and it's a good pressure. You just got to make sure you're taking actions, you're not frozen, and you're taking the right action, and you're fixing any issues that you have as quickly as possible to move forward as quickly as possible. But for example, we had a phenomenal person who joined up on our team. Her name was Gazelle. She's still on our team. And she couldn't figure out, why am I not doing deals? You know, it's not working. It's not for me. And so we sat down and we figured out her cash flow based on her cash situation and how low her monthly was and how much cash she had, her and lines of credit and whatever. She was able to survive for 10 years without having to earn another dollar.
Wow.
Now, that is an enormous amount of comfort level. And you won't work and you won't do this job and you won't succeed at a job this difficult or a self-employed job because you just don't have to. So why would you?
Exactly.
And so you won't do the things that are necessary to really succeed at any job, because it's all the little nasty little things that you got to do, the hard things that you got to do, the things that you don't want to do, the changes you got to make to your personality, the tonality, the you know, you're not the boss, they're the boss, so you got to change towards them type of thought process that you wouldn't do, you know, if you were a billionaire, because everyone's thinking that they're their own billionaire and I'm going to do what I want to do. And if you either like it or you don't like it. And in sales, it doesn't work like that. You have to match up with that other person, and you have to, you know, answer to their requests and do what they want you to do. And that's how you get paid in this business. And you don't get paid unless you do everything and complete your transaction. And that's what business is like. So she was too comfortable. So what do? We crunched her numbers, and she went out and bought a house just like Shawn. And then she ended up buying another house. So two houses to really put a good pressure under her.
Holy. Okay.
And I kid you not, this is known, and it's a famous fact on our team, is that literally 2 days after she went firm on the purchase of her home, where now
she's locked in.
Yeah, she's locked in.
Yeah.
She's firm on her deal. So she bought the house. There's no way out. She put the deposit down. So she put the deposit down the next day. The following day, she did her first deal, her first firm deal. Like, it just done. 2 days after that. That's how effective this tool is. That's what happens when you put yourself from a comfortable position to a high pressure position, where now you go from 10 years of living comfortably with not having to make any money, which you won't then, because if you don't have to, you won't. Why would you?
10 years.
10 years, yeah. To where it was now like, under a year. And that's a huge amount of pressure for her. And within 2 days, she did her first transaction. And from then on, and from the next year, right? So she joined up in the middle of the year and she wasn't doing anything. And then she did her first transaction. The next year, she did, I think it was close to 20 transactions, which was 6 figures times 2.
Wow.
In her first full year on the team. From there, and it wasn't even a full year, because from there, she bought a plane ticket to Bali, and she moved to Bali and bought 3, 4, 5 properties in Bali, and has now become an Airbnb specialist.
No way.
Yeah.
She's in Bali right now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, she's getting bored over there, so we hope she's coming. She's still on the team.
Yeah.
So we hope she's coming back.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think she's starting to miss us.
Yeah.
And my bubble doesn't extend to Bali, not yet.
Yeah.
So she's on her own out there, and it's not the same. And so when she entered into this bubble and these thought processes that I train and I teach, and a lot of it has to be one-on-one, or at least within a group setting that I can do, because I can sort of
in front of the world.
Yeah, I can read the person, because I'm sitting, like, I can read you, but I can't read someone through the camera, at least not yet. Right. So I can start maybe learning how to read the reactions based on comments. So please go ahead, put your comments. Let me hear what you're thinking, so I can get that feeling of what you're feeling from what I'm saying here. Mm-hmm. And this way we can work together through the cameras, which would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that would be.
And so, I mean, at this point in time, I mean, it's crazy. She went out. She now owns two or three properties here in the city, and then she bought 4 more properties in Bali. And her income just from an Airbnb is well over 6 figures now combined, if you just take the revenue being generated.
Right.
And she's offset that with, instead of making her real estate, so she made a transition, and that all because I triggered her and put a thought process in her head that she has to move from her 10-year comfort zone, and she couldn't find out where the problem was. And I figured out where that problem was, and we solved it. And all of a sudden now, she
needed that pressure.
Yeah, you should follow her Instagram. It's Gazelle.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure it's Gazelle Hanstein. She'll pop up.
Yeah.
And she's on a beach in Bali. And, that was, she was in this bubble for a short period of time. It was only about, a 1.5 to 2 years. I still think she's sort of like an extended, she's still coming back. She still wants to get back into doing this. I guess, the beach life, you can only do that for so long, I guess, when you're by yourself and you don't have all your friends and family close by. So hopefully she'll be back, and she sounds like she's craving to get back in action. And that drive again is going to show up once you get here, and then make some adjustments, and all of a sudden you're under that pressure again, and away we go. And you're doing all the right steps. So guys, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Shawn is traveling the path that needs to be traveled for anybody who's opened up self-employed, who's gotten a real estate license or a mortgage broker license. These are some of the steps that you're not going to learn anywhere. These are the steps that you need to take, and you're going to watch Shawn travel for where he was in one career, where he's made an instant switch. He's done all these little changes. He's gone out and put an immense amount of pressure on himself through a house. And now Shawn is about to travel the road of becoming a successful 6-figure times 2, 3, 4, and hopefully 5. 6 figures times 5 over the coming year to 2 years, and maybe sooner. I mean, I know he's going to get to the 6-figure mark in the next 6 months. So stay tuned on how we do that.
He has to.
Yeah, he has.
September, folks.
He has no choice.
Yeah.
You got to say it. Do you have a choice?
I have no choice. Like, September is, Shawn is bankrupt.
Yeah.
So.
You got this?
It's go time. Yeah, it's go time.
You got this. It's go time.
Yeah.
That's my thing, by the way. It's go time. I post that all the time.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there, AKA copyright, whatever it is. It's go time. All right.
Exactly.
Okay. So anyways, Shawn.
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right.
Let's do it.
That was another amazing episode. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for what's coming next. you want to send everyone off?
Thank you for tuning in. This is insane journey. I can't believe I'm sitting in these seats right now. Looking at these lights is pretty crazy. I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen next. Like, I'm excited to see what happens next episode. What am I going to be sharing with you?
Well, stay tuned to find out. It's coming out We have a weekly podcast coming out
Thursdays, everyone.
That's going to update Shawn on what he did next to get him to that next level. And there's lots of levels in the beginning that are really easy to climb up if you just know the rules, you know how to move, and you have someone like myself moving you from A to B, level to level. So,
and thank you, by the way. I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
No, seriously, I appreciate it a lot.
I appreciate it as well.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next episode.
All right. Thanks a lot. Bye now.
Bye.